Casinos. We all know and love them. Obviously, us in this classroom don't because none of us have legally gambled. But I don't think even you guys are surprised to hear that casinos only exist to take your money. That's the only reason they're there. So the first time you go into one, it's best to know where to go so you don't get dug into that deep hole that a lot of people get into. The best game to play at the casino statistically is blackjack. But there's only one game at the casino where it's not you against the house. It's you against the players around you. And that game is poker. It's the only game that, if you're good at, you can consistently win money and make it big. So today I'm hope to simplify the game for you a little bit as we look at the materials you'll need to play, the rules and different card combinations that help you win a game, and some basic strategy. With this, I hope that the first time you walk in, you aren't intimidated by that bright green table sitting in the corner of the room that nobody wants to go to, because it could be your best chance at making any money when you walk into a casino. So I'll go over those in a minute. First off, the materials you'll need to play a game. First off, a deck of cards, obviously. Secondly, are poker chips, which I'm sure you've all seen in one form or another. And third are blind chips, which I don't actually have on hand with me, but essentially it's just a normal looking chip, except one of them says small blind and the other one says big blind. And I'll explain what those mean in just a second. So the game is started with each player getting dealt 2 cards. So in this situation, it's going to be me, my friend Michael, and Connor playing with me. So first off, each player is dealt 2 cards. And then, as I don't have the blind chips that we need, we're just going to pretend. This blue one is going to be considered the small blind, and red is going to be the big. Now, I'll tell you what those do, but the person to the left of the dealer always gets the small blind, and the person to the left of the small blind always gets the big blind. So what those mean is those determine the amount of chips that each player has to put in before the round even starts. This is to keep the game going, and so you can't just pick and choose whatever cards you want to play with. And also keep in mind, if this were at a regular casino setting, everyone would have a different amount of chips, and it would be kind of chaotic. But just to simplify it, we're all just going to have a pile of these white chips, which are each going to be worth 1. So almost everywhere you go, the small blind will be half the amount of the big blind. So this means before the game has even started, before any bets have been made, this is the best that these players have to put out. So to simplify it, we're going to say that small blind is 1 chip, so you just put it right in front of you, and big blind is 2. And then after each round, the blinds rotate as such, so whoever's the dealer, whoever had the big blind would have the small blind, and whoever had the small blind would be the dealer. Sounds confusing, but it will make sense as we go. So now it would be my turn, first off, because Connor is the big blind, and the person to the left clockwise of the big blind would go first. So there's 4 possible moves you can make in a game of poker. The first of which is what's known as a call, or in other words, you match the maximum bet that is put out onto the table. So I will go ahead and do that, as Connor had to put out 2 chips because of the big blind. I will call, or essentially I'm matching the highest bet on the table. In order to move on from your turn, you either have to match the highest bet or go higher than it. If not, you have to fold your cards and give up the round. So now since I called that, it would be Michael's turn. And so now we'll go over the second move, which is to fold, or basically you give up the entire round. This means that you have no chances of winning, however, you can't lose any more money. So Michael's going to go ahead and fold, give me his cards, so he's done. He can't possibly win the round. And now it's Connor's turn. The third move that you can make in a game is what's known as a check. This means that you're already at the highest bet that you need to be at, so you don't need to put in any more chips if you don't want to. So in this situation, Connor is going to check because he's already at the highest bet and he doesn't want to put any more chips in. The fourth possible move that you can make is what's known as a raise. A raise means you are putting out more chips than the current maximum amount of chips. So even though I'm at 2, which is the same as Connor, I'm going to go ahead and put one extra one in and raise the total chip count. So now it would go back to Connor's turn. And Connor is going to call, which remember means to match my bet that I had previously put in. So then it would go back to me. And so now we're going to both check, which means we're both already at the highest amount of chips that we need to be at, and we don't want to put in any more, so which means we're going to end the starting phase. So after the starting phase is over, all the chips that have been put in go to the middle, or what's known as the pot. And now the flop is going to be laid. But before I lay the flop, I should probably explain to you how you even win a round of poker in the first place. You win a round of poker by getting the best card combination, and these behind me are the card combinations in order from best to worst. So like a royal flush, for instance, is the rarest hand in a game of poker, and you almost will never get it, maybe not even in your entire life. The worst of which is high card. That happens every round. That's just in case no one has a match with anything. Whoever has the highest card wins the round. So first off, the flop is laid. The flop is just 3 cards that are dealt that you have to try and combo your cards with. So I know it's kind of hard to see, but all I'm doing is laying out 3 cards. And for demonstration purposes, in a regular game of poker, there would be 3 cards laid out, and then there would be a lot of betting, a lot of mind games, and so on. A 4th card, all that happens again, and then a 5th card. But just to make it easier for the demonstration, we're just going to assume we both check each round because no chips are put in, we don't have to put in anything. So we're essentially just skipping our turns for every round. So since we're doing that, I will lay out the other 2 cards. So now there's 5 total cards that each of us can use to combo with our cards to make any one of those patterns. And since we both checked everything, the round would be over. So this is the time where each player flips over their cards to see who has the best combination of cards. And whoever has the best combination gets all the chips that were put into the middle. So in this instance, none of us actually have any matches at all, but I would win the round because I had a jack high and Connor had no combination, but his highest card was a 7. So I would win that round, and I would win all the chips that were put into the middle, including Michael's chips. Because remember, even though he gave up, his chips were still put into the middle, and he lost them. But he couldn't have lost any more after that. So I hope that's made the game of poker a little bit simpler for you, because a lot of people look at it as a super complex thing that's only made for professionals. But when in reality, if you just have some basic knowledge to help you play, you can make a lot of money when you walk into a casino. So I hope I made it easier for you as we looked at some of the materials they need, the rules and different card combinations, and some basic strategy to help you win your games. Now that you know how to play it, you know that you can walk into a casino confidently and start to gamble. Thank you.